Welcome back to this week's edition of the Risk Spotlight Operational Risk News Update. My name is Emily Jones, and today I'll be bringing you essential updates and insights from the world of operational risk, drawn from the past week. All information shared here is sourced from the Risk Spotlight portal, the premier forward-looking service dedicated to operational risk content. Let's get started. The National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, has updated its AI Risk Management Framework, AIRMF, as mandated by the White House Executive Order on AI. This framework is a voluntary guide to help companies responsibly develop and deploy AI systems. NIST has released 4 draft publications to improve the safety, security, and trustworthiness of AI. 2 of these focus on mitigating the risks of generative AI, which can create human-like text, images, and other content. The key risks identified include threats to the data used to train AI systems and the potential for synthetic content to be used maliciously. The other publications address approaches for promoting transparency in digital content generated by AI and a plan for global engagement on developing AI standards. NIST has also announced a new platform called NIST Gen AI, which will run challenges to evaluate and measure the capabilities of generative AI technologies. The next update relates to the European Union taking a stronger stance against money laundering with the establishment of a new anti-money laundering agency based in Frankfurt, Germany. This agency will have the power to directly supervise some of the largest banks and financial institutions in the EU, a significant increase in the EU's regulatory authority. The EU has been criticized in the past for not doing enough to combat money laundering, with some high-profile scandals highlighting weaknesses in the current system. This new agency is part of the EU's efforts to address those shortcomings and close loopholes that have allowed illicit funds to flow through the financial system. The agency will have around 250 staff members and a budget of €45 million per year. It will be able to impose fines of up to 10% of a bank's total annual turnover for non-compliance. This shows the EU is serious about giving the new agency real teeth to go after financial institutions that fail to meet anti-money laundering standards. The next update is on the recent release of the NIST Cybersecurity Framework 2.0 by the National Institute of Standards and Technology. The new version, which is the first revision since the original framework was released in 2014, includes a new govern element that emphasizes the need for organizations to incorporate cybersecurity risks into their overall risk management strategies. The govern element requires organizations to establish, communicate, and monitor their cybersecurity strategy, expectations, and policies. It also addresses organizational context, cybersecurity supply chain risk management, and roles and responsibilities. The next update presents key findings from the new Verizon 2024 Data Breach Investigations Report. The report highlights some significant cybersecurity trends from the past year. First, the use of vulnerabilities as an initial breach entry point increased by a staggering 180% in 2023 compared to 2022. Vulnerabilities like the MOVEit zero-day attack led to breaches of over 1,000 organizations. This emphasizes the critical need for robust vulnerability management and a multi-layered defense strategy. Another key finding is that human error is still a major factor, contributing to 68% of breaches. The report found that users click on phishing links in just 21 seconds on average and submit sensitive data in 28 seconds. However, there are some signs of improvement, with 20% of users reporting phishing emails without clicking and 11% reporting emails as phishing even after clicking. Ransomware attacks remained a top threat, making up nearly a quarter of breaches. But there's been a shift, with pure extortion attacks, where data is stolen without encryption, increasing to 9% of breaches. This suggests threat actors are adapting their tactics. Interestingly, the report found that generative AI has not yet made a significant impact on the cyber threat landscape. Most discussion around it has focused on selling accounts and non-consensual AI-generated content, rather than using it for attacks. Finally, the report highlights how threat actors continue to adapt to defenses. For example, basic web application attacks dropped from 30% of breaches in 2022 to just 10% in 2023, as organizations got better at blocking these less sophisticated attacks. The next update highlights that ransomware attacks are leading to a growing number of lawsuits in the U.S. In 2023 so far, nearly 1 in 5 ransomware incidents, 18%, have resulted in a lawsuit being filed, with 123 cases already. This is up from an overall rate of 12% of ransomware attacks leading to lawsuits between 2018 and 2023 across over 3,000 confirmed incidents. Of the lawsuits that have been completed, 59% were successful, either resulting in a data breach settlement, the company being fined, or an out-of-court mediated settlement. 25% were voluntarily dismissed by the plaintiffs, likely indicating out-of-court settlements, and 11% were dismissed by the courts. The main driver behind these lawsuits is data breaches. 283 million individual records were impacted in the 355 ransomware attacks that led to lawsuits, making up 80% of all records breached in ransomware incidents since 2018. Healthcare and finance were the sectors with the highest number of lawsuits filed. In terms of financial impact, over $245 million has been paid out in out-of-court settlements, with an average of $2.2 million per case. The largest known settlements range from $6 million to $8.7 million. Organizations have also faced nearly $10 million in regulatory fines related to ransomware attacks and data breaches. The next update highlights findings from a report titled Impact of Organizational Structure on Cybersecurity Outcomes, conducted by Sophos. The report analyzed how the organizational structure of a company's security team can impact its ability to respond to and recover from ransomware attacks. The study looked at 3 different models. 1, where the IT team and cybersecurity team are separate organizations. 2, where the cybersecurity team is part of the IT organization. 3, where there is no dedicated cybersecurity team, and the IT team manages security. The findings were quite interesting. For Model 1 organizations where the teams are separate, only 60% were able to recover their data from backups, compared to 80% for Model 2 and 76% for Model 3. This Model 1 group was also much more likely to pay the ransom, with 58% doing so, versus 37% and 35% for the other 2 models. The ransom payments themselves were also much higher for Model 1, a median of $935,600 compared to around $320,000 for the other 2 models. And the total recovery costs were about $1 million higher for Model 1 as well. Interestingly, Model 1 organizations were also more than twice as likely to report lost revenue due to the ransomware attack, 57% versus 31% for Model 2. Overall, the study found that the model where the security and IT teams are integrated, Model 2, tended to have the best outcomes in terms of recovery time, ransom payments, and overall costs. The report suggests this is likely due to better collaboration and shared goals between the 2 teams. The next update is on North Korean hackers employing a deceptive new strategy to target software developers by using fake job interviews to spread malware. They create realistic job interview setups and instruct victims to download malware-disguised Python backdoors from GitHub. Upon execution, these files allow attackers full access to the victim's system, enabling them to steal data, install more malware, or exploit the system further. This campaign is notably devious, as it leverages the trust developers have in the job application process, utilizing elaborate social engineering tactics previously seen in phishing schemes on platforms like LinkedIn. And there you have it, a whirlwind tour of last week's operational risk landscape. If you want to read more about the topics I have covered and review additional content on emerging operational risk topics, then please log into the RiskSpotlight portal if you are a subscriber, or go to RiskSpotlight.com to sign up for a free trial. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, stay safe and keep those risks in check.